Oh my god!
Hi, Mikey!
I'm gonna want to know what you two are talking about.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Loose Ends with Mikey. There's a few loose ends again tonight, Mikey.
I know. What is with you? I'm telling you.
You need to fire me.
Yeah, I know. You can fill in the guests with what's happening with our guest.
So our guest who had no issue before, but I guess changed technology and then sound became a thing. So she couldn't hear us on her computer, but she could hear me on the phone. So she's logging in right now and oh my goodness, I see her face. Her face is going to be big on the screen. But I said, but at least she can hear us. Are you ready to meet your special guest tonight?
Yes. Is she all ready to go? She's still adjusting.
She is adjusting.
Was she just adjusting her bra strap? Was that a bra strap? No.
Oh my gosh, Michael.
I can see that. Actually, I saw the name that came up. I want to talk to her. I know her name from YouTube.
I know you know her name from YouTube. She is on YouTube, and I do believe she was one of your she's nodding. I'm just going to let her talk. But It's been a while, and she's never actually spoken to you. So does
she have a stand? Because she's still all over the place.
I'm wondering, Dia. I just said her name. Thumbs up if you have a stand.
You're good to go.
Oh my gosh, she has a stand.
Hey.
And honestly, with all of the anticipation, now it's going to be one heck of a show.
Yeah.
And without any further ado,
bring her on.
Welcome, Dia.
Hi, Michael. Hi, Karen.
Hey.
Hi, Dia. How are you?
I'm good. I told you should have got me ahead of time. I'm not good with this computer stuff.
Well, we've spent the last few minutes just trying to figure that out, and it was one of those things where you couldn't even hear me on your phone at one point, and I'm like, oh dear, here we go. And then we got that.
I had to get my headphones.
So it's all good.
That's a good idea. Smith is saying, have we coordinated outfits? I think it's a blue day here on.
So, honestly, we did not coordinate outfits, but honestly, Michael, sometimes you and I, when we get together, it's like, honestly, we are symbiotic at this point. Mm-hmm. Because when we go out, it's like, oh my God, you're wearing that. I should go change because I look like you.
Why? You look fine.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's all about Dia tonight. Dia, I've been wanting to meet you. I know your name from YouTube. You are one of the, you encourage people. You are a commenter. You are really ingrained in the community on our YouTube platform.
But you know me from somewhere else too.
Oh shit.
I knew he wasn't gonna. He doesn't remember stuff like that, Dia.
Well, because I had short hair like you have, Karen.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And I had a different last name too.
Okay, you're scaring me. Where do I know you from?
You don't remember the night in the bar, Mikey?
What? I don't remember what.
The night in the bar.
What bar?
I got them all confused now, Karen. You picked me for your leadership challenge. You picked me and one of my students, Madison Boyd.
Yes. But what bar was that? I don't remember being in a bar.
That was a joke, but you didn't get it. Went shoot.
Oh, sweetie, it's late here in Nova Scotia. Where you? Remind me where you're from, Dia.
Okay, I currently live in Alabama right now, but I'm from Rhode Island.
Rhode Island, cool. Mm-hmm. Alabama. Tell me about what is cool about Alabama. I've been to Mobile. I don't think I'm saying it right. Mobile, Alabama. What is it about Alabama? Tell us why we need to think about Alabama.
Well, I'm on the southeast part, over on the other side near Georgia, and there's a big lake here. We got a 45,000 acre lake here, Lake Eufaula. Mm-hmm. And that's what's really a nice attraction in this area.
And how's the weather down there? Like temperature wise, is it already hot?
Yeah, we're in the 90s. We're humid. Next week we go into summer weather, and we start hitting 100.
Oh God, that sounds like a
Yeah,
night. Do you at least have
it
air
is.
conditioning, Dia?
Yes, I have a mini split in every room.
Yeah, you would need to. So are you a crocheter all year? Because I remember you from YouTube. It seems like you're always around.
Yeah, well, we have the air conditioner on all year round, so I crochet all year round.
Mm-hmm.
So
so when did you find us? Like it seems like I've known your name for a long time. Like we've been together a long time, even though we haven't seen each other in person.
how long have you been the Crochet Crowd? I would say at least 15 or 16 years.
Wow.
Have you been that long?
Longer than me that I have been, but that's okay. We'll go with you.
No, it's from whatever you first turned to the Crochet Crowd, however long that was.
Yes, September 2010. We were going to go to a big show called Creative Festival. That's how I know Karen from. And Daniel says, you cannot go as your YouTube username as Mikey's Mail. You have to come up with a company name. I'm like, I don't need to do that. And so we had to come up with something, and Daniel named us. So September 2010 is the official launch of the Crochet Crowd.
So that'd be about 15 years, right? Almost 15.
Yeah, a long time. Like
yeah, I found you.
We were this big.
I found you because I had been crocheting since I was 10, and I'm now 66. And I thought I knew all the stitches. So I was trying to get a Crochet Guild Master Certificate of Crochet. And I got halfway through the program, and I got stuck on this bullion stitch.
God,
and I could not figure it out.
It's a horrible stitch.
Anyway, so when I Googled trying to find stuff to look it up, I found the Crochet Crowd. And so when I started watching your stuff and the things you were doing, I'm like, well, they don't have half of this in the master certificate. So why do I want to get one if I can learn more from this person? Mm-hmm. And I've been with you ever since, and I've learned so much. It's amazing.
You want to know a secret? I got rejected for that as well.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Well, once I started it, they changed the curriculum on it. So I would have had to pay the whole fee and do it all again. So I just figured it wasn't worth it because I was learning more stuff from you than I would have had from them.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I never got my certificate because I was already playing videos, and they watched me doing the videos. And they said, you're too slangy. You have too many things that are not standard with crochet. We cannot certify you. And honestly, Dia, I was pissed. I'm like, you know what? This is the way my mom showed me. And I picked up a great hobby. I've got a life coping skill. I'm not going to have somebody tell me that I can't teach somebody else through my mom's voice, because that's how I remember is what she told me.
But not just that, you're teaching us a bunch of stuff they're not teaching us. So if you get that, what are you a master of? To me, a master of means that you know almost all the stitches there is. You could teach anything. And what I knew at that time, I thought I was smart and I knew all this stuff. But I didn't know a lot. I've learned so much from you. It's amazing.
Yeah, but you know what, Dia? It's really you guys that are teaching me as well. Like when I see, like, what in the hell are you talking about? Let's get on that Google and see what stitches are talking about. Like, as much as I'm a leader, I'm also a follower to see, because you guys run into stuff. Because you got to think, like, you and I are in the generation where if it wasn't at the local store, you did not know about the stitch.
Mm-mm. So no, I knew only what I learned from my grandmother.
Exactly. So you really, once the internet came to be, because the younger generation doesn't get that, we're not in the dark, but we really were recipients of knowledge of people that were in our lives and not being able to reach out like we can today. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what is it? So I wanted to relay a story. My friend, actually, Debbie, was trying to get her master's with crochet, and she just quit. She said she realized that she doesn't need validation to say that she can lean over and show somebody. And she said she had gone through the program and she had failed a couple times or whatever. I'm ad-libbing, I think. 90%, as Karen would say. So anyway, so she just said, screw it. I don't need my certification to teach my friends. And I thought, good for you. And that's the way it should be, you know.
I ended up teaching 60 plus students through Hobby Lobby and the library. I didn't need the certificate.
Tell me about that, Dia. Like, tell me about the feeling that you get when you share a skill. Do you get a feeling?
Oh yeah, I loved, especially when their light bulb goes on. They're like, "Oh, I can do this," and they see it's not hard to do. Because
No,
my grandmother always taught me if you could do a chain, a single, a half double, and a double, you could do any of them because the rest is just a combination.
that's right.
And when you can put that across to somebody else and show them, okay, well, the back post is really just a double, but instead of going in this part of the stitch, go back here, and you
Hmm.
see them get so excited. To me,
Oh,
that's the whole thing of it.
I had a moment like that at the Prince Edward Island Fiber Festival where I was teaching the group and somebody got it. And I turned around and I was looking at the whiteboard that I was using. And I'm like, I'm here in the moment that I'm meant to be to share my skill at this moment of time for that person to capture the fire of crochet.
That's right.
And I took in the moment. I'm like, wow, I think I'm living in a dream to have this opportunity to be able to share.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's really what kept me going. The reason I started teaching was I have lupus, and when my skin lupus flares, I kind of look like I tangled with an octopus. I get spots all over me, and I started the first time I was diagnosed. I'd never had it, and I started getting like, what is it, agoraphobic, when you won't leave the house because I thought I
Yes.
looked too terrible. And my husband said to me, "You need to do something you love to do that'll take your mind off how you look."
Yeah.
And he said, "Why don't you go teach somewhere?" And so I approached somebody at the library because I figured at the library, you know, it's upstairs and I'm out of the way, but I could help somebody. I ended up with 32 students.
Oh, I
And
am so I am so happy for
it was
you.
the best thing that happened to me. And they encouraged me to go to Hobby Lobby.
And so your husband kind of just like, get the hell out of the house and find a purpose. And you, instead of you just sitting on your couch saying, yeah, 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 you did it, Dia. Like that. You know how amazing that is?
Well, crochet to me is a passion. I mean, I could talk about it all night long. You know, I
Oh,
even
shit. So
like,
can
I met a woman in Hobby Lobby today and she's making one of those flower blankets like you just ended up. And I said, "Do you know the crochet crowd?" And she goes, "I've heard of him." I said, "He's doing a study right now, and this summer stitch along is going to be his study of complication, and it's going to turn into one of these." And we get talking about it, and it's just that, you know, you connect with somebody, and you not only connect with them, you get to see how they feel about being creative too.
Yeah, because you know, I honestly feel the way that my patterns are, go ahead, do it. Change the color. I don't care. If you don't like the stitch, I don't care. Just I want you to find your own voice through stitch work that makes you the happiest. So if I see alternations of my pattern and people say, you know, I really didn't like that color, or I didn't like this stitch, especially popcorn stitches, people hate that, Dia. When they change it, I'm like, that's great. You know what you love.
When I knew I was going to be on here, I started binge watching all your podcasts.
Oh
And
God.
I don't remember who you were talking to, but the lady took your designs and she turned them into other things. And I was so fascinated to see, and she had only been crocheting like 8 months. And
Yeah.
the things she was making, I think she lived in Australia and she ended up making the animals of the Australia, but she had made some things with some of the centers or something from from your studies. And you know, to see stuff like that, that's pretty cool, because not only did you influence them, but you also gave them the confidence to try other things.
Yeah, you know, for me, it's not important for people to acknowledge that I'm the one that taught them or it's my design. That's not my purpose for the crochet crowd. My purpose is for you to find your own joy and the artist within yourself. And that makes me more happier than it is for me to get recognized.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's really about the serving and sharing other people than getting the credit for it. Because really, when you think about it, our credit comes from our maker. He gave us the skills, and we're just sharing them.
Okay,
you know?
then.
I know you don't like to talk about that too much, but it's true. You think about it. You think about it. Your skill wasn't driving the truck. This is where you were meant to be.
Yeah, it really was. It was just, I was lost in life and just trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life. And it is remarkable how the dominoes just, it didn't fall instantly, but it, like I was writing a blog the other day, which I never posted, but just like how it's a domino, it's one change to another. So we're sitting in our homes right now and we want this, but we can't get there because we have to have the dominoes fall in front of it first before we get there. And if the domino falls in the wrong direction, then you're going to have to redirect or just, come up with a new plan.
Yep.
But yeah. So that's kind of interesting. So one of the things that I love about the crochet crowd is I see this as my forever job, to be honest with you, is that there's always something cool to learn. And
you're always coming up with new things. It's like, like you said, we're kind of teaching you because we'll ask you stuff and then you turn around and create something else. And it's awesome that you have a mind like that. You can make all kinds of things.
I'm going to pop in because I want you to see this, that somebody attempted socks. Michael, I have never seen you do socks, but they are attributing you to that.
I did socks.
You did? When?
You don't want crochet socks. Okay, go ahead.
My point is that I'm agreeing with you 100%, Dia, is that, if there's a jumping off point and Michael, you are so fantastic at giving people the confidence and the basics to do all the things they want to do. And that was one. Okay, I'm out of here.
Yeah. So Dia, with the socks for me, I feel like when I have socks, crochet socks, I'm stepping on every knot. It's not a comfortable feeling unless I want therapy on my feet. Where knitting, it's like a nice flat stitch, but in crochet socks, I feel the bumps of each one of the stitches.
Well, I have two students. One went to Hawaii and one went to Alaska, and they both sent me hand spun yarn from those areas, but they only sent me enough to make socks. And so I've had it put aside because I'm a little leery about making socks because it's like a sock yarn weight. And with one little skein, I don't know what else to make with it. So I've kind of been putting that aside.
Now, one thing I did realize is that I went to Alaska and I ran into the muskox farm where they have the muskox with the kivot. And they're like, well, can you crochet with this? And of course, that's a stupid question, as you would probably imagine. But I'm like, I don't really see patterns for crocheters for this level of yarn. And they said, well, I've done it. And I said, do you have a pattern? And she goes, no. So I used my time in Alaska to figure out how I'm going to get this beautiful kivot skein of yarn into a hat. Now, you're in Alabama. You don't need that. But in my case, I need something like that. And so I sat there and it takes forever because the yarn is like really, really thin. But I found myself more joy on doing these hats that take longer because the stitch work was just so phenomenal with the kivot. So I realized the magic secret for crochet hats is actually 200 yards. I did not know that until that point.
Well, I could take those two things of yarn and make hats for cancer patients in the hospital because they're cold. Sure, I could try it.
But if it's an animal fiber, you're not going to want to do that. It's got to be cotton.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd have to look. It's been such a long time. I got to put aside. I just know that they were hand dyed and hand spun, I think, in Alaska and Hawaii.
I bet that's fabulous stuff. I know for our people that are dealing with cancer, they need that cotton yarn because it's a natural fiber and it's preferably not dyed. And it's just as a natural fiber because I think it just irritates their skin. Karen could probably speak to this topic a little bit more because she probably knows more about it than I do. Yeah.
I had a friend, Nona, and I had this like fuzzy, really soft yarn I got from Hirschner's, and I made her a hat out of it, and she loved it. And I don't think it was cotton. I just don't remember what it was. But it was like so soft and furry, but it wasn't like really fur. It was just like a fuzzy kind of. And I made her a hat, and she wore it until she passed.
Oh, that's sweet. That's sweet. That's sweet.
I think as long as it doesn't irritate, it's all good. And I think whatever fiber you find that works for that person is all good. And I think it's wonderful. Oh my gosh, I'm loving this conversation. I'm gonna.
Y'all
There
just
she
got to
goes
keep
again.
me in line because I could talk forever about everything. So
Oh yeah, but you're not going to, Dia.
I know.
One thing conversation is obviously a two-way street, and we have some people that we meet in our live events, and they're very kind of open about it too. Like they talk a lot because I think they're alone a lot, so then they want to use up all their words while they're with some people, and so it can get kind of tough. But some people are very conscious of that as well. So crochet. So did you say your grandmother taught you how to crochet?
Yes. When I was 10, it's a nice story because I still almost cry when I think about it. I was 10. I lived with my grandmother till I was 8. My whole family did. And then we moved to our own house. And my mother got kind of sickly after she had the 2 sisters after me. So I got to spend summers with my grandmother. And we were in Rhode Island. So we were right near the Connecticut line. And they had the yarn mills in Willimantic. And back then, when a skein yarn broke, they just threw it in a box and called it seconds. And we could go buy those boxes. For $5, we get a huge box. But it was like either a mess or it was a partial skein. And so my grandmother, I would have been termed ADHD back then. I couldn't focus. So my grandmother took me with her and we got the box. And my job was to unwind everything in the box and put it into balls. And then I could pick what I wanted. She'd make me something out of it. So when I got to be about 10, she started teaching me how to do chains and single crochets. And so she took me one time and she bought 2 boxes. And I was like over the moon because one of them ended up being mine. I got to keep the whole box of yarn. And I think that's where I got my love of yarn and crochet in that, because the colors, the textures. I was like that movie. I don't know if you ever saw that movie, Patch Adams, where the old lady wants to swim in the noodles. You could put me in a pool full of yarn of different textures and colors, and I'd just be in heaven. And that's how I felt with those boxes.
We need to do an activity like that, Karen.
With a pool full of, oh my gosh. Yeah.
But they got to be wearing clothes inside.
That would be fun. It really would.
Yeah, because I'm not reaching in to find soap. So, my second blanket I ever did. So I did a first blanket, and Bernat, the brand for me, is what I saw in the stores. And it was a blue and white and an off blue color. It was a variegated yarn. So my mom had me do this blanket that it was a 10 millimeter size, N as in Nancy crochet hook. And it was way too big for this 4-ply worsted, but she wanted me to have success really fast. So my second blanket was actually donated yarn from anywhere I could get yarn, because I didn't have enough money for yarn. And it was from my grandmother, and it was a piece of this and a piece of that, and I didn't care. And it was the most beautiful blanket I ever saw, that I regret that I got rid of in my time. But I think sometimes we're so focused on, trying to get that matching yarn, when in actual fact, it's kind of cool just to use up those scraps.
Well, my first blanket, because I was like 10 or 12 somewhere when I finally was able to make, I was one great big granny square, and it was all the different colors out of the boxes. And I mean, my sisters probably thought it looked gross because I just had oranges and blues and all kinds of colors. And whatever I pulled out of the box was the next row. And this young man that we went to high school with, he stayed with us until he went to high school. He went back to Oklahoma. I gave it to his mom. She just passed 2 years ago, and she still had it.
Oh, wow. Now, speaking of gross, you realize your host tonight is wearing orange and blue, right?
No, I mean, I said my sisters would think it was. I thought it was great. I
Okay,
mix colors
I'm
all
going
the
to
time.
add to that. My high school colors were orange and blue.
Hey, I'm a Gators fan. Yeah, I'm a Gators fan. It's orange and blue, okay?
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Go for it. Florida Gators. Michael, that's Florida Gators. I know you don't know.
I don't even know what that is.
I do.
It's football.
Got you.
Oh, football.
Go Gators, says Tanya.
College football.
Dia, they lose me as soon as the ball leaves between their legs. I'm all hooked in until they put the ball somewhere else. I was like, why does the camera have to go somewhere else? Why can't you just stay there?
Yeah. Get a picture of that tight end.
Michael's favorite position is center, right? You know that, right?
I don't know what
Michael doesn't understand.
No, but it's what he gets to look at.
Oh, fun.
Okay, and I'll leave it at that. So I have a bunch of her crochet stuff here. What would you like me to share with everybody first there, Dia?
I'll let you pick because I don't remember everything I sent you. I know some of it's knitted. I know some of it's knitted because Michael encouraged me with the knitting too.
Oh my gosh, what did you knit? I don't even know what you knit because.
Well, I'll tell you one knitted thing that right now that you could pull up is the Afghan with the VW bug on it. You know, the orange camper. If you downloaded it. Well, I can't get onto my stuff I sent you because I'm on the phone, but
my gosh, Michael's gonna fire me. I am a bad producer. Okay, so while I go back into the things that Dia sent me, I am going to throw something else up. How's that? I know this is one that Michael will appreciate.
Okay. Okay, that one is, it looks like it's study ombre, and the picture doesn't show it good, but it's done in the gray and black ombre. And I made that for my spine doctor because of him. I'm walking and everything. I've injured my spine twice actually. Today I went and had another MRI, but I made that for him as a thank you for he kept me from having surgery. I had PT and chiropractic adjustments, and because of him, I'm still walking with no surgery.
So when you gave him the blanket, like, what's the reaction to something like that? I would never.
Oh, he couldn't believe it. He looked at it and he's like, "You did this. This is phenomenal. I can't believe that, you can do all these different stitches." And, I told him that I followed you and actually which design of yours it was. And I said, but, you create things with your medicine for people like me to keep us going. I create things with Jan, and he was very happy to get it. He actually mentioned it the other day when I was in there.
Oh, that's that. You know what? We all wish that people would do that. Like, seriously, because if you give something to somebody and it ends up in their garage sale the year later, that's when you take the lighter and you burn down their house.
No, I just buy it at garage sale and give it to somebody who could use it and wants it.
Exactly. Like, why sell the damn thing? Like, give it to somebody. Like, I actually look at those blankets in the Value Village. I know some people don't like Value Village, but like, I would literally take some of those apart, like those granny squares, and make it into a jacket, like, and repurpose it into something different.
Well, we talked about the Crochet Guild and doing the swatches to learn the crochet and that. I went into a thrift store and I found ones that somebody did for their master in knitting. And they're in a thrift store, all these squares. And I crocheted around the edges. And I'm going to turn it into a blanket. And I'll donate it to a nursing home. And somebody, probably some older woman who used to knit, will be able to get this blanket. And it'll mean a lot to her.
It's kind of funny, Dia. We had a child actually get one of the blankets that were in our program that we were doing on a crochet cruise, and it was brown and red. And so the crocheter said, "Oh my God, I hate crocheting this." And basically everything is done. They just got to assemble, put the border on. And so they ended up giving it to the child, and the child was just so elated by it because, and they said, "Really?" And the child says, "You made me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich blanket."
Yeah.
And it's
amazing that what they think.
I know. So what we perceive probably at the Value Village of somebody else tossing it there is somebody else's treasure, really, right? But you can't teach people that appreciation.
No, but I think too some of it like that is like when you were talking to one of the other guests and you were talking about how the things you made out of scraps, meant more to you because, the different yarns and stuff. And I think kids are more open to being more creative in how when they receive something, they see it. It's not just a crocheted blanket. Like you said, it's peanut butter and jelly.
Absolutely.
They don't have those strict blinders on, and it means so much to them.
Somewhere along, and I'm guilty for this myself, Dia, is that somewhere along the line, we lose our creativity to visualize a different perspective of different things that, a child's mind is not conditioned yet. And I sometimes think that's a really sad thing. I used to get in trouble all the time for daydreaming. It was in my report cards all the time. But it was the daydreaming that made me
I don't
creative.
know what that is.
Yeah.
Hold on.
So one of the things about the thrift store that I was thinking about is that just because it's there doesn't mean somebody wanted it there. They could have had somebody die, and it's the possessions of somebody that's deceased as well. Like they're cleaning out somebody else's home. So we assume that somebody didn't want it, where in actual fact it could actually be.
I lost you.
Something. Uh-oh. Okay, so we're gonna have Dia come on back in if she can hear us. Okay.
Hi,
Okay.
I'm
So
going to pop back in.
Yeah.
Dia, if you can hear me, log out, log in, log out, log in, whatever it is. It's all good.
Actually, yeah. You gotta log in, you gotta log out, you gotta log in, and you wiggle it all about.
You do the crochet pokey, and you loop it all around. I don't know.
At least she's in a good pose, like when she's stuck. So,
okay, am I back?
Oh, there.
She's back. I was
she
just
is.
going to say, Michael, we could talk about her glasses because somebody just accused me of copying.
I had mine first.
All right, I'm back, but my speakers went off.
Oh no, Dia. We need to figure that out. But anyway, for the person who said that, we shop at the same place and we shop together. And it is what
Can you hear me?
My glasses
I can hear you,
are up
Dia.
here and hers are down. That's the only pretty much difference. But she
And mine
wanted
are
to be
more
like
colored.
me so bad. She goes, I want to be famous. I want to be cool. I need your glasses.
I would do something bird-like with you right now, but I am a polite,
What's stopping you, sweetie?
because this is going out to how many people, and I'm a very polite person.
Okay.
Yeah, can you hear us?
Shake your head up and down if you can hear us, Dia.
I don't think she can hear us.
I think
I'm
she's
gonna
looking through her
message her.
bifocals.
So while I'm messaging
God.
her, I should do this. Hold on, Dia.
Okay, let's call her on the phone. We should do, you know what we should do one night, Karen, while we're waiting for Dia to come back on? We should do mystery calls where we literally call somebody on, we call somebody's phone.
Oh, God, why did you have to do this to me?
Okay, Dia, we can actually hear you. You're not
But
moving.
she can't hear that. We
Yeah.
can hear you.
So,
I'm gonna
where did we get our glasses? It's called Godet Optical.
God,
It's
why are you
based
doing
out
this?
of it's based out of Halifax. They do not order online. They have a quality standard that they want the glasses to fit the customer. So they will not do anything online because they don't want to tarnish the reputation. Yeah. So anyway, so
too funny. Oh, maybe she can hear us again. But
okay,
anyway,
her
I'm gonna try. Okay, I have muted her, so I'm gonna unmute her and see.
Dia.
Can you hear me?
us? Yeah.
Yes.
Hello.
Try again.
Oh my gosh, Michael, I blame you.
Dia, speak. We think we can hear you, Dia. We can hear you breathing.
It says you muted my mic.
Yeah,
I did,
Karen.
and I unmuted it. Can you hear us?
I can hear you, but I don't know if you can hear me.
Yay! Okay, and on that
we're
note,
good. We're good.
I
We're
am
good,
going
Dia.
to bug her off again. But before I do, I'm going to put up something else. Okay, you ready?
Okay. Oh wow. Is that a sampler, Dia?
Okay, that was a bunch of squares that I made out of scraps.
Mm-hmm.
And I made the blanket for my girlfriend who was in cancer. And every year for Relay for Life, have a blanket to donate for them to raffle.
Mm-hmm.
And this was their raffle. They raffled this. Actually did it 2 years in a row. And the same woman won both of them.
Oh my God. Is there only one person entering?
No, actually, I don't know how it happened, but she won them both. And her daughter figured since she won both of them, she stole one from her.
Yeah, stole it. See, Sharon. I knew there was a story there.
He knew there were shenanigans there, Dia. There were shenanigans involved. Okay.
Yeah. So
Well,
anyway,
that's what everybody else said, that, okay, so
So you got a lot of studies going on there.
these are my whips. Yep. The blue one is the study of ombre, and that is in the aqua, and that's going to be a bedspread for my bed. Mm-hmm. The purple, white, and yellow one is the reality, study of reality I'm doing now. My grandmother loved pansies and petunias, and those were her colors, and that was the vibe I was going for. And so hopefully by the time it's done, it's going to look like a flower garden of pansies and petunias. Yep. And then the study of texture at the bottom is a bunch of odds and ends that I have. And I took a picture of the sunset over our back field one day. And the picture came out so beautiful. And I had the odds and ends. So it's the study of texture, but my theme for it is sunset meets meadow. So it's going to go from sunset colors into the wheat, so it looks like wheat over the field, and into the browns, and then the red clay at the bottom, if it comes out the way I envision it.
Well, I like that you're almost getting your own little storyline, because when I create these studies, there's always a story to it. So I like that you're applying your own story to how the finished look is going to appear for you.
Well, when I buy a skein of yarn, I hear people say when they're buying yarn, okay, I bought this yarn, I liked it, what am I going to do with it? When I go shopping and I see a skein of yarn, I see what it's going to be. So when I buy it, I've already got it envisioned as to what it's going to be.
Yeah, I'm not that disciplined. I just buy it because I like to touch it.
Well, I like to touch it and everything too, but I can always pretty much know what it's going to be.
Wow. I'm the kind of crocheter though, like if I see something and somebody's really staring at a yarn and there's only 2 balls left, I will buy it just so they can't.
I've got my volume totally maxed, and I'm trying to figure out how to reconnect my headphones, because I'm having a little trouble hearing you. I can hear you, but it's kind of light.
Okay. So I was just commenting that if there's a sale and somebody's looking at 2 balls and they keep humming and hawing, I will buy the ball just so they can't. Because there's a set, and this happened actually at a big yarn sale once, where they literally put a bin of yarn, and I didn't even need the damn yarn, but there was like 10 women jumping in this thing and just going nuts. And I'm like, why am I not included? And so I had to get in there and start wrapping my bag full of yarn. And it's because you get hyped into the motion of like, let's get involved.
Yeah, it's almost like going to the auction and you start bidding on something and you get way bid up because you got so excited about it. And the next thing you know, you're paying more than you even want to pay for it.
I know. I have a trauma over that. I will not go to an auction because of that, because I'm one of those idiots that I didn't realize that I was purchasing the whole set, and I thought I was just getting one item. And so when I got to the cash register, it turns out I bought all these damn ceramic birds.
Yeah.
That I didn't even need. I just wanted one. So anyway, it cost me a fortune. So what's next for you, Dia? Like, what does the rest of this year look like for you? Like, as far as like, are you filling up charity boxes? Are you got goals? What's this year looking like?
Well, what I've been doing for the last year or two, because I've been having some health issues, is I've got a whole bunch of scrap yarns that I haven't finished from teaching. When my students would learn something, I'd start with them, and then I'd either not finish the project or I'd decide I didn't want to and rip it out once they got the idea of what they were doing. So I got all these odds and end yarns. So what I've been doing is, because I'm having a lot of different medical procedures, I take the scraps and I'm just making all your blankets. Those are funny. I'll tell you about that in a second. But anyway, I've been giving the blankets to charities and stuff. The pumpkins she just put up, the 2 bigger ones, that really big one was a hat for my husband for Halloween. And the one on the left was my hat for Halloween. And we went to a Halloween party and we had pumpkin shirts and we were pumpkins. And so after Halloween, I was telling some of my students, now I could put this hat away, or I could turn it into something that I can use through Thanksgiving and that. So I stuffed it and I just pulled the bottoms together and made the Thanksgiving pumpkins for my decorations. And then I made the other one that was one of yours to go with it. And then, so now on each Halloween, I undo the bottom of the pumpkins and I pull the stuffing out and we wear the hats and then I restuff them.
Wow. I, as you just alluded to, like I have those pumpkin hats. It's cold enough in Halloween here in the north that you can get away with wearing that. It actually will keep you warm. It's not uncommon to be trick-or-treating as a kid and actually having to wear a snowsuit up here, which like defeats the whole purpose of the costume.
Yep.
But fall in the autumn here in Nova Scotia is a really big to-do. Oh my God, Karen can speak to this too, the amount of festivals and stuff. So this kind of thing, my friend Michelle was wearing a hat like this and she just looked so cute at this pumpkin festival. I'm like, I need to get and do a hat just so I can fit in and be as cool as she was.
Well, I didn't think my husband would wear the pumpkin hat, but he loved it.
I want to have pumpkin hats.
Yeah, we need matching sets like jackets, Karen.
So, yeah, Michael's been on about having matching jackets for around here for the two of us. But yeah, no, I'm all good with matching hats.
Yeah, that'd be kind of fun.
love that idea, Dia. Repurposing things and then multi-use stuff. Oh my gosh, brilliant. I love it.
Now, Karen, it reminds me of one of our local people where they gifted their neighbor what appeared to be it was a toilet roll cover. And anyway, it was in their welcome package because they moved in and said, "Here, welcome to the neighborhood." So it had some cleaning accessories, and the person thought it was a hat. And so the next week they saw them, they were wearing the toilet roll cover as a hat, cutting.
Oh, the toilet paper cover.
I was going to say, I didn't get that kind of welcome gift. Hello. But at the same time, I'm like, that totally would have been me. Really? Are you kidding? I love that. I love that.
You have to ask Margaret. Yeah.
Oh, I will ask Margaret.
Yeah.
No, what? But I love the pumpkins and I love the hat and then repurposing idea. I think it's brilliant, Dia. Thank you for that.
Well, I like to be able to do multiple things with stuff that I have if I can. So sometimes it's decorations and then it becomes an article.
Sure. Now I like to do, like, as you know, you've been with me forever. Like I like stuff that I don't want to wear stuff. I like, as a man, I can get away with it but I don't want to be a special man where I'm going to just wear a shawl around town and be completely like something that's going to get beaten up in the street, which I don't think would happen in my area. But I'm just saying that there's so much cool stuff that a woman can wear, or somebody that has more confidence than I do, to be able to do something like that. So for crochet, I like the home deck the most because I can enjoy that. I can put it around my house. Now I have some rules where I don't have crochet in certain rooms in my house because I'm eating and living the crochet crowd. I don't want it everywhere in my life, because it's a little much. Tell me about your yarn collection. Do you have a lot of yarn?
I still have a lot of yarn. Before I started teaching, my dream was to have a yarn store with a cafe and a room where people could hang out and crochet and maybe have coffee and a Danish, and I could sell yarn, and then there was have a room. So there was a place that came open for that around here, and I tried to get it, and we had a little Walmart that turned into they were going to rip it down and get a big Walmart. I bought out all their yarn. I had 2 rooms full of yarn. And so now I'm down to 1 room full of yarn. So I'm just trying to use up the yarn I have. But of course, today I had to go to Michael's and buy some more because you can't not buy yarn once in a while.
I know. But Dia, I've been told that they who have the most yarn at the end of their life and dies wins. So are you a winner, baby?
I'm going to be a winner, but my husband's going to be a loser because he's going to take it all and throw it in the thrift store. So whoever buys it will get it.
My friend Bruce says that about his wife. She collects a lot of things. And he goes, all I need to do is make 4 phone calls and all of her crafting supplies are just out the door.
Well, I told him, I said, when I make a will, I'm going to leave all my yarn to some of my students because otherwise you're going to throw it all in the dump.
Now, one of the things that I like to do, and I've done it in the past, which I really got to rethink this thing now that I'm opening my big fat mouth, is that when there is a cry out for cry is the terrible word, but when there's a cry out for people needing to get gifts for Christmas and stuff, one of the things that I've done in the past where I get a tin can, a recycled tin can at the dollar store, and I put a few balls of yarn in there and I put my address for my website and exactly what they need to do to learn to crochet and a crochet hook and just something fun to put in, just something fun. And and it really is the starting kit for somebody to have that connection with that. And it actually makes me feel great. The other thing that I do is that I crochet a band that goes around it. So it's around the tin. So I don't want to wrap it because that's just a waste of time. But I literally create a thing so they have something to look at, a crochet stitch to go around and how I did it. And I think we could probably do a lot more with that with charity work, because I think honestly, it's a lifelong hobby for me.
I had a young girl at a local restaurant. Her parents own the restaurant. She was there, and they hang out because they got to wait for their parents. And she kept telling me that she wanted to learn to crochet because she knew I crocheted. So I went out and I bought this cute little purse thing, and I got her like yarn and some hooks and stuff. And so I gave her a little crochet kit to get her started. And, she's made a chain like about 8 foot long. And I'm trying to get her the confidence to do the single crochets and that. But I mean, just the look on her face to get it.
That'll come in time. Like it's that curiosity of what's next. And it's a matter of saying, okay, well, you've done a great chain now. Can I show you something else that will really kind of thicken up your chain? And it's those little things that it's like, can I show you something else? But you always have to have that permission for them to be open-minded enough to be shown the next level. And I find kids especially, like they are thirsty. What's next? I've just done 10 stitch. This is so cool. What's next?
And they were some of my better, students were the kids because, the adults, they had set terms on what they wanted to make and what they wouldn't make. And the kids, they were, all you had to do is show them something simple and fun. And the next time they'd come back, hey, Miss Deal, look what I made. And it was something like a worm or a bookmark or something you didn't even tell them. And they just used their own imagination and made it.
Exactly, Adia. Exactly. I had this one woman in one of these live workshops, and I honestly could have punched her in the mouth. She needed it, honestly. Karen's like, oh my God, where's this going? But every time she'd get frustrated, she would take her hook and the yarn and throw it across the table. So we spent more time like a dog fetching her project. And I'm like, can you just calm down, take a deep breath? There's no need to throw it. And I was just attention needy. And I'm like, I am totally done. After the 5th throw of her yarn and her hook, I'm like, I'm done. I can't handle like that kind of stress in teaching somebody.
One thing I'd like to do, and I don't know, if the area around here, I'd like to be able to get with somebody in the school system and just, tell them, it'd be fun if I could set up something with the school where I go in on a free period or whatever, teach whoever wants to learn how to crochet and stuff. Because even the young guys are wanting to do it too. They just don't have anybody show them how.
And that's so true, Dia. Like the young men, we when I first joined to crochet, how come the damn hook has to be pink? And I thought as a kid, like I want to show my friends that I crocheted, all one of them, and I was like, I couldn't do it because my hook was pink. And I'm like, if I ever got into an adult life, I wish they'd make the damn hook so that I could literally go and buy it and not have a girl smiling on the package and all of this stuff. And I think today's era, and we see that with Jonah Larson as well, is that there's more young men getting involved with it because the tools are more generic. And I think that is so key for inclusivity.
Well, and I think Jonah does make it a lot easier for a lot of the young men.
Can I add to that, Michael? So I work with youth, and some people in this crochet crowd know that. I work with the cadet program here, and we've done different things all the time. And I've heard that, but I've also talked outside of what Michael knows. And there are so many kids, like when I say kids, because, well, I'm plus 50. So there are so many people, like there are so many youth who are crocheting and doing things. And it's about giving them that passion, giving them that opportunity. Michael came to one of my cadet corps and taught people how to do a poppy. I have had more cadets ask me about that in the last year. I kid you not, Michael, I'm going to end up having to do it. But go ahead, Dia.
Sometimes the kids will come back to you as young adults and they'll say, hey, Miss Dia, you remember when you taught me how to do this? And they remember it years later.
Yes.
I had a young man stop me while I was walking, and he had a family, and I knew he looked familiar, and I didn't know who he was. And he goes, you're Dia, right? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, you used to be our babysitter. He goes, you remember when you taught my cousin how to do this crochet thing? He remembered that, and he was in his 30s. But he remembered I taught his cousin how to crochet something.
So to me, Dia, you were a change maker. You're changing people's lives by giving them a skill. And the fact that they remember your name is phenomenal.
Yes.
No, but seriously, you are somebody's story. Even though it may have just been a passing moment in your life, it's carried somebody else through. That's amazing.
Well, and the way I feel, I know you don't like credit, Mikey, but you started a ripple, and I'm just extending the ripple on through my knowledge, and then those kids are going to extend it on, and that little pebble is just moved ripples through generations.
So can I ask you a question, Dia?
Sure.
How would you think the crochet crowd can embrace some of the younger generation?
Great question.
Now, you should have told me that ahead so I'd have time to think about it. But actually, when I was teaching my classes, and I would always give my phone number and tell the kids or the adults, you could call me anytime. I would say to them, if you can't get me, go on the crochet crowd, because they have all these tutorials. And the kids were the ones who really went on there more. And they said, I learned from this video, or especially the left-hand ones. Oh. It's hard to teach a left-hander. So the fact that you have all those left-hand ones. But I mean, I don't know. And your crochet crowd is your vision, Michael. But if there was a way the crochet crowd could get into schools, or, tell people how to get into, or just encourage them to get into schools and start, some of your easier projects. I think you could do a mentoring, not you, but like us, we could do a mentoring program in the schools with crochet, and then we could refer back if the kids get stuck, and we could tell them where the videos were and stuff. My idea is not totally formulated because you caught me off guard, but I mean, I think that you have enough videos and things that it would help younger people to go ahead and keep learning.
Sure. Go ahead, Karen. You're just chomping at the bit.
No.
Idea many years ago, Daniel and I actually talked about creating a crochet crowd network of doing what you're talking about. The problem is when you build something like that, it costs money to do it. And then people then have to have a membership to it. And then they have to have subscribers. And then you have to have the board of directors and all of that. I think it's better for somebody like you with a vision that has that opportunity for your library, then into Hobby Lobby. You can do more damage yourself doing that in a positive light than it is to create a network of the crochet crowd to do the same thing that you're about to do, with literally pretty much almost no cost and no membership fees.
Yeah. I was kind of basing it on when I was a mentor and I'd go to the schools and I'd mentor kids and you kind of help tutor them. And then what I would do is I'd use some of my crochet to show them, like I had one little girl, she was having trouble with math. And I used my crochet to show her multiples by using stitches
Oh my
then she
God,
would
you're
count.
brilliant.
So she learned the
Brilliant.
multiples of 3 and 6, and just from my stitches, just from
You know,
learning
I
that.
have to tell you, in the last year, I actually am learning to multiply and add and subtract because I'm working on so much diagram work. And I'm like, oh my God, I fucking know the number. I'm like, how did I know that? And I'm like, and it's just because I've always struggled with math. And I think it's just the crochet just forces you to get your mind to be analytical like that. And so you are doing an amazing job there, Dia.
Well, I wouldn't have known you struggle with math, because I mean,
Oh my God.
to me, and looking at all your diagrams, and it's like you're a math genius.
No, I'm just determined. It's like you are, Dia. You were determined, and your husband said, get off the couch and do something. And you could have sat there, as I mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, and you didn't. So when the desire is strong enough, Dia, you can move a mountain. And I believe that.
Well, and my thought is always, who can I make this for? Who can I share this with? In all the years I've been crocheting and that, I've only made maybe 3 things for myself.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Honestly, I need another blanket. Like I need a hole in the head, and some people think I need a couple more holes. But
but there's so many. There's so
yeah.
many people, and
Yeah.
and we all love things. But what it comes right down to is the basics and the stitches and how that all comes together, and in all of the loose ends that we've done, Michael, in all honesty, how many people have we been talking to week after week that have taken what you've taught and parlayed it into so many other things? And that's what we need to do. Like, there's that part of me that I would love to hear from the youth and how they're learning from Michael and learning from people like you, Dia, and are incorporating it, because they're making their things. And yes, and somebody also mentioned they make small things. Absolutely. Zipper pulls and hats and little things to hang off their toe charms and whatever else. But they're crocheting and they're creative and they're doing, and it's all based on the same principle.
So so to conclude, really, Dia, you said it the best. It's like a ripple. And basically, you've just picked up something and you're passing it along, and then it passes along. And you are literally in somebody's history of teaching something where they probably have taught somebody else skills that they picked up from you. And I think that's a privilege to be able to have that opportunity. So you are a change maker, sweetie. And it has been a pleasure to talk to you tonight. I really enjoyed this conversation.
I enjoyed it too. And I really wanted to be able to thank you, because, you have taught me so much that I've been able to share with others. And, sometimes I think you don't realize just exactly how many people you affect.
No, I really don't. But I think that's what makes me a good host, is that it's not, some of these people on YouTube, like their shit doesn't stink. I don't want to be like that. In the sense that, it is a privilege that you welcome me in your life through the computer. And if you've been with us so long, as you said, like, to be with me, and we're getting old together, Dia. And I think it's just a remarkable, and thank you for welcoming me as part of your life. I do certainly appreciate it. And I love what you're doing, just passing it along.
Well, thank you. And I feel like I'm just hanging out with friends like I've known you forever.
I know. Like I saw your name. I'm like, I know her. And so it's like, but I couldn't place you in a crowd, obviously, because of your face. But in the sense of, like, I know the name, and I know that name is an uplifting name, and it's like, and it just feels good. And
an uplifting name through YouTube, correct, Michael?
Yes. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I comment on everybody's stuff. There's so many beautiful things. A lot of people want to put some negative comments. But to me, people want to know, am I doing something good? And there's so many beautiful things out there.
And I've said this on a cruise ship in a real tearful manner, is that you don't know if that comment that you're making is going to pull somebody out of a hole. And so you got to make sure that if you're going to apply something to the internet, that it's the best of the best, because you don't know where that person is in their mind psychologically. So
that's very true.
Yeah. So thank you so much for being a part of our community. And we look forward to seeing your positive comments online, Dia. And thank you so much for spending the night with us.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Dia. A joy as always. And again,
yeah, even with the technical issues.
We're fine. We're fine. So we're going to be back next Thursday, right, Karen?
Yes, we do. And I have somebody lined up. I'm going to chat with them a little bit more. They don't even know that yet. And and I'm always looking for people who are interested in speaking to you on Loose Ends with Mikey. And so please, Wendy, if you can put up the
she has. So Wendy's been posting out there. Sweetie, you don't need to tell Wendy to know what to do. We have to follow Wendy's instructions.
Fantastic. Thank you.
When will you learn? So
I learned quick.
Dia, hold up your hand like this. Hold up your hand like this.
Hold up your hand, Dia.
And
like
after
that?
we say 3, we say end scene. So 1, 2, 3, end scene.
End scene.